All right, here we go. Week 1, June 23rd to the 28th, new KNEW Solve for Y guided video tutorial. So we want to get Y by itself. This is going to come up a couple times. It's a very, very important topic. It's a lot like solving an equation, but it's a little bit different because you have other letters in it. But it's important to realize that if I were to give you this with no other letters, you would do it, you would have no problem doing it, right? So if I kind of say I change this a little bit. Say I said 5 plus 3x equals 5, okay? And I were telling you to get x alone. The first thing you would do is you'd move that 5 away, right? Because again, you're trying to get this x by itself. So now I've changed it up on you because I don't want you to get the x alone. I'm telling you now the name of the game is solve for y. We want to get the y by itself every time. So getting the y by itself, knowing that you want to get the y by itself, every time you're going to circle or highlight the y. You're going to draw that river, and that's where, again, method to my madness. Now you have that muscle memory in there. Circle your y, draw your river, okay? Move away what you need to. So what's attached to your y? Plus 3x. How do I move a plus 3x? You subtract it. So I'm going to subtract 3x, and if I do it to the left, I have to do it to the right. Now notice, I'm probably different than a lot of teachers here, a lot of professors, in that I do not do it directly underneath the 5. Method to my madness. The reason why I don't do it directly under my 5 is because they are not like terms. I cannot take 3x from 5. They are not apples to apples. They are not oranges to oranges. They are apples to oranges. When I work left to right here, I'm going to bring down my y. These are going to zero out. But then over here, I'm going to bring down the 5. I'm going to bring down the minus 3x. And I'm done. Because these are not like terms. And that guy is alone. Which is exactly how we wanted him. Done. Okay, so let's look at number 2. Since we called y a guy in number 1. We'll call him a gal in number 2. My daughter can't say girl, she says gal. All right, so over here, all by her lonesome, we want her. But she's not. She's got this negative 2x attached. Okay? So we circle, draw the river, move away the negative 2x. How do we do it? We add the 2x to both sides. Well, I'm going to do it right underneath here because those are like terms. But over on the right, I'm going to do it to the side. I'm going to draw my nice long line, and now I'm going to bring down y, 0, negative 5, plus 2x. That comes down, but they come down separately, not like terms. Okay? Let's look at number 3. These look different than 1 and 2. And the reason they look different is because I don't have any to add or subtract anything. Everything's already on the other side. But what's attached to my y? Something's smushed together with it. And smushed together means multiplied. So what I have to do is I have to divide. When I have to divide, whatever I do to the left, I have to do to the right. But now there's multiple things on the right. So I have to do it to this on the right, and I have to do it to that on the right. Everything on the right. Now, when I do it to everything on the right, it's important that I notice how many x's do I have here? What's the coefficient in front of the x's? Or just the x, sorry. There's a 1 here. I had 1 x. So when these divide, I get y, which is exactly what I want. Usually I don't write the 1 because it's overkill. But here it's important because that 2 that I divided by, it's on the bottom. I don't want it to pop out. I don't want it to pop up. I want to write this as 1 over 2 x plus 4. And how I got that is I have the 1 in front of the x over 2, and then plus 8 divided by 2, which gets me 4. And I'm all done. Number 4. Okay. Again, I want to get y alone. I draw my river. What am I doing? I'm dividing by 3. If I divide the left side by 3, I have to divide everything on the right side by 3. These divide out to 1, I get y equals. Now, 5 divided by 3 does not simplify. And guess what? I love when that happens because I can leave it alone. I get 5 over 3x minus 9 divided by 3, which gets me 3. And I'm all done. We don't mind that. As long as it's simplified, we can leave it. All right, we are good to go. Now, let's look at 5 and 6 because now we have to combine both things that we've been doing. Here's my y, which is what I want to get by itself. Here's my line that I can't cross. First thing first, I have to move that 5x to the other side. It's a positive 5x, so I need to subtract it. And when I subtract it from the left and I subtract it from the right, I'm going to subtract it over here away from the 16 because they're not like terms. I'm going to bring down my 4y. These zero out, and I'm going to get 16 minus 5x. Now, here's still my y, not by itself. Now these look like 3 and 4, and I'm ready to go. Divide by 4 on the left, divide by 4 both pieces on the right, and I get y equals 16 divided by 4 is 4 minus, I write this as a fraction, 5 over 4 x, and I'm done. Find my y, always find your y, draw your line. I need to move the x over. So, if you've noticed, the x is always going to be opposite of what it was on whatever side it is. So if it's a positive, like here on number 5, it was a positive 5x on the left, so it's going to end up being a negative 5x on the right. With this one, it's a negative x on the left, so I'm guessing it's going to be a positive x on the right. But let's see. I'm going to add an x here on the left, so I have to add an x on the right. These zero out. I have to pull down the negative 5y. And when I pull this down, I get negative 15 plus x. I still have my y here. When I'm dividing by negative 5, all three of them, these zero out. I get y equals, negative divided by a negative is going to be a positive. 15 divided by 5 is going to give me 3. A positive divided by a negative is going to give me a negative. And again, I have this situation where I just have an x, which really means I have 1 there. So my number here is 1 over 5 x. So I have y equals 3 minus 1 over 5x. Practice, go on to the independent. Let me know if you have questions, and I'll see you soon.